Hi, welcome to On This Day in Tudor History with me, Claire Ridgway, author of several Tudor history books. Now, I'm taking you back to the reign of King Henry VIII today. For on this day in Tudor history, the 3rd of March 1542, Arthur Plantagenet, Lord Lisle, courtier, soldier, diplomat, administrator, and the illegitimate son of King Edward IV, died of a heart attack after being informed of his release from the Tower of London. How very sad. Let me tell you a bit more about Lord Lisle, who he was and how he came to this tragic end. It is not known exactly when Arthur Plantagenet was born, but it was before 1472, when Arthur is mentioned as my lord the bastard in the royal household's accounts. We also don't know for sure who his mother was, but most historians believe her to have been Elizabeth Lucy, a woman we don't know anything about either. We don't know anything about Arthur's early life and upbringing, except that reference to him in the royal household, which suggests that he was brought up with Edward's other children in the royal nursery. By 1502, Arthur was serving in the household of Elizabeth of York, Queen Consort of King Henry VII, and a woman who was Arthur's half-sister. Following her death in 1503, he entered the king's household and was appointed as an esquire of the body. And after Henry VII's death, he continued in the royal household under his nephew, King Henry VIII. Records show that, like Charles Brandon and Thomas Knivet, Arthur was a close friend of King Henry VIII, one of his sporting companions. He also served his king in a military sense in France in 1513. He was knighted in October 1513 at Tournai. He was in attendance on the king in 1520 at the historic Field of Cloth of Gold meeting between Henry VIII and Francis I. And in 1523, Arthur was elected as a Knight of the Garter, and in the same year he was made Viscount Lisle. In 1525, he was appointed as Vice Admiral to England, serving under Henry Fitzroy, Duke of Richmond and Somerset, Henry VIII's illegitimate son. He was also appointed Constable of Portchester Castle. From 1526 to 1533, he was a Gentleman of the Privy Chamber. He also served the king in local offices, such as by serving on the Commission for the Peace in Hampshire and Sussex, and as a Sheriff for Hampshire. And he served his king on diplomatic missions, for example, going to France in 1527. In March 1533, following the death of John Boucher, Arthur was made Deputy of Calais. In this role, he organised a spy network through France and into the Low Countries, and oversaw work to modernise Calais' defences, Calais being an English territory at this time. However, he didn't get on well with some of the others involved in the administration of Calais. And as a Catholic conservative, he also opposed the plans of Thomas Cromwell and Archbishop Thomas Cranmer, who wanted to appoint reformers to church positions and as preachers in Calais. On the 19th of May 1540, Arthur was arrested and imprisoned in the Tower of London. It was alleged that he'd had treasonable communications with Cardinal Reginald Pole, using his chaplain as a go-between. But his arrest was really down to his enmity with Thomas Cromwell and a power struggle at Henry VIII's court. However, Cromwell was also on his way out as his enemies rose against him, and Cromwell himself was arrested on the 10th of June 1540 and executed on the 28th of July, the same day that the king married Catherine Howard. In January 1542, Lisle's luck changed as the king sought to rehabilitate him. He was sent the Garter, which had been taken from him, and on the 3rd of March, Thomas Lisle, one of the king's principal secretaries, visited Arthur with the king's signet ring and news that the king was ordering Arthur's release. John Fox wrote, "The message did in a few hours, perhaps in a few moments, what 22 months of solitary agony had failed to do. It killed the prisoner." It's so very tragic. Arthur was married twice. His first wife was Elizabeth Grey, daughter of Edward Grey, 1st Viscount Lisle, and widow of Edmund Dudley. They had 3 daughters together. In 1528, following the death of his first wife, Arthur married Honor Grenville, daughter of Sir Thomas Grenville and widow of Sir John Bassett. Arthur and Honor didn't have any children together, but Honor had 7 children from her first marriage. Honor outlived her husband, dying in 1566. Now, Arthur and Honor are known for the Lisle letters, a collection of around 3,000 letters from their time in Calais. These still survive today and are one of my very favourite primary sources. They're letters between them and their agents in London from the 1530s. And here I have a copy of volume 1. I've actually got 6 volumes, and that is the size of them. So lots and lots of letters giving wonderful information about all the goings on at King Henry VIII's court and obviously in Calais. The 3rd of March is also one of the dates given in the French contemporary sources for the secret marriage of Mary Tudor, Queen of France, and Charles Brandon, Duke of Suffolk, in 1515. And I look into this in last year's video, which I'll give you a link to. You can subscribe to this channel, and I'd ask you to do that, please, by clicking just about there. You can give me a like and leave a comment, and you can hit the bell to be notified as these videos go live, which at the moment is on a daily basis. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.